You got it.
Yep. Here we go. So you want me to start it? I said we're live.
Yeah, that's what I said. You started up.
You said I was ready. I thought you were ready. All right. Well, I guess I'll kick things off because sorry for the miscommunication. Well, breaking
That's
news.
what
I
I'm
know we
saying.
haven't done this. You're good. It's all good. Miscommunication. Flag on the play. We'll do it audible. It's all good. I'm not gonna worry about it. Haven't done this in a while, but we're back. So welcome back to everybody that's tuning in right here on the Miller's Edge. I know you guys probably wondering where we've been at. We've still been doing our radio show every single day, Monday through Friday, 12 to 2. Took a pause on the YouTube channel, but we're back. I see Kenji's in here. I see Brock's in there. Good to see you guys in here. But nonetheless, look, we're back, and you guys see the title. Obviously, it's breaking news. Kaden Proctor, was former Alabama offensive tackle, then Iowa offensive tackle. Now it's about to be Alabama offensive tackle again. So we had to come on here and talk about this. Believe it or not, I kind of knew about this a couple of days ago, but was trying to be respectful and not talk about it until it was out there. But now it's out there, so now we can talk about it, right? So you guys see it. You see it in the title. You guys have seen it everywhere. Alabama freshman, All-American offensive tackle, Kaden Proctor. He's back, right? And I know you guys are confused. I thought he's at Iowa. Well, yeah, he was. He was there about, was it a month? Maybe a month and a half?
Maybe 2 months, yeah.
Maybe 2 months. But, the news is out that he's re-entering the portal and he'll be back at Alabama. I'm pretty sure it'll be as soon as this spring. Now, will he be able to take part in spring practice? That I'm not too sure. I guess we still got to see the details on that. Maybe I can look that up, or you guys in the chat might know. But nonetheless, he will be back. I'm just going to flat out say it, right? What's up, G Bama boy? We see you in here. Good to see you again. Here's the deal. They needed this, right? I'm gonna be completely transparent with you. I've been at practice for several of them. Today was their fourth spring practice. They had the week off for spring break. They started back today, and I'll be honest with you, not just from what I've heard, but from what I've seen. Those tackle positions, that's what we've been talking about. Like, you got Brailsford, the center, coming in for Washington, who, I'll be honest, he's small. He's not a very big kid. And I know you guys, he played great at Washington. He did. He's a good player, but I'm just going to be honest. Seeing him in person, he's not big. He honestly looks like a linebacker. But he's a snappy guy. He's got good base that he plays with. He's quick. And that's what's going to be asked out of these offensive linemen in this scheme. But we'll get to that in a little bit. But nonetheless, you got the two guards, Booker, Roberts, those two guys coming back. That interior, they look great. But I'll be honest with you, the tackles, man, they're the question mark of this offensive line. Again, just like it was last year. And just so far, at least in my opinion, I feel like that was definitely going to be something they were going to have to address. Well, look no further. They went with somebody familiar in Kaden Proctor, and he's coming back. And obviously, look, the guy's going to have his starting job back. I mean, I don't think these other guys that they have at the tackle position are ready. And I know, Kaden Proctor took some time to develop, but as the season went on, by the end of the year, he was a much better football player than he was at the beginning of the year. And we knew that it was a big loss when he left. Well, now you got him back. I'll tell you, that's huge for this team because they were in desperate need of some help at the tackle position. You're getting a guy that was just previously here 2 months ago. My biggest question mark, I talked a little bit about the agility side of things, how in this new scheme with Coach DeBoer, they're going to be asked to move laterally a lot, right? It's a lot different than your typical just duo blocking scheme, driving guys off the ball, doubling. I mean, there's a lot of movement. There's a lot of pulling, right? From the center to the guards, to the tackles, tight ends. People are always on a movement, right? That's just how the scheme works. So that's going to be the biggest thing with him coming back. Now, the good news is, again, he's a phenomenal football player. He's going to have to develop. I think he could benefit from losing some more weight, right? I think if he attacks this offseason and gets his body in better shape, I think that was one of the issues he dealt with. He didn't seem like he was always in the best shape. That's not uncommon for freshmen. You're used to playing against high schoolers, right? This kid started every single game for Alabama as a true freshman at left tackle. I mean, that's a tough task, right? And then you talk about going against SEC competition. it takes a lot of getting used to. So I expect him to be a much better player than he was last year. I am going to be curious to how he adjusts to this new scheme, but nonetheless, this is a huge pickup. But if you guys think this is the first of, first of these, I guess, surprising moves in the portal, it might be the first, but I'm telling you, it's not going to be the last. There's going to be a lot of movement. There's going to be a lot of surprises. There's going to be all type of wild things going on, not just with Alabama, but other teams, right? And that's because that's the nature of college football right now. I mean, guys technically can just transfer at free will right now. I thought they were putting some rule where you transfer once and you got to. I guess that's still not the case, right? It works out for Alabama right now. We'll see if it works against them at some point. Who knows? But as it seems, from what I'm hearing, this is not going to be this is not going to be the last move to kind of shock some people. All right, but again, that's college football for you. But nonetheless, Alabama's getting a tackle, which they desperately need. Another big piece for them going into this football season. And I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, you're excited. If you're an Iowa fan, I'll be honest, this is the second time he's spurned that fan base, and he's from there. So I pray for him when he goes home, because this is the second time that he's done this to him. Because if you guys don't remember, he was committed to Iowa, right? He flipped to Alabama like on signing day or right like the day before, a couple of days before, right? He's here in Tuscaloosa. They're sending text messages to him saying, hey, good luck, or not good luck. They're saying, hey, keep your head up. We know, things have been a little tough for you. We're proud of you. They get in trouble for, tampering, whatever you call it. He enters the portal. He goes back home. He's there less than 60 days, and he's headed back home to Sweet Home, Alabama, which I just saw. I guess he had posted like the Michael Jordan "I'm back" meme or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to lie. I know he's a young guy. I'm not going to try to jump on him too hard, but I can't, man. the meme, like the "I'm back" thing, like luckily these Alabama fans are going to be, happy to have him back because, we definitely could use him, but this ain't something I'm going to be getting used to. I'm just telling you that right now, right? We'll let him slide because he's the first one to do it, to jump ship and come back. But I'll be honest with you. I don't know about you, or I don't know about you guys in the chat, which I'm seeing everybody else in here. Good to see you guys back in here. Roll Tide, everybody. It's been a while, but I'm not going to be with the whole yeah, yeah. I'm the type of person, if you're out, you're out. All right. Now, again, I know he's a kid and people make decisions. And look, these guys have that grass is greener syndrome. They think it's better elsewhere. They find out quickly that these other schools don't necessarily have the same resources that Alabama does. I mean, the guy has a clear starting job here at arguably the best program in the country. I don't know why, again, other than wanting to go home, but clearly, I don't know. And again, I haven't spoken to him personally, so I don't know exactly reasons for everything, but it is what it is. He's back here, so we just wanted to get on here and talk about it. And I'll be glad to answer some more of your guys' questions, but I'm gonna let my dad kind of give his spiel because I know he's going. You guys know he's unfiltered, he's honest. So I'm actually curious because we didn't really get to talk too much before the show about kind of his thoughts. I kind of just said, hey, let's hop on here. We got something to talk about. And with that being said, the floor is yours, man, because I know you got a lot to say on this.
Well, I mean, no, not really. But I mean, the thing is, first of all, welcome back, folks. Greetings and salutations to all of you. Good to see you back here on the tube. Looking forward to getting back to football and talking a lot more with you. Three things. Why did he transfer back to Alabama? Number one, well, let me put it to you like this. Three reasons he left Alabama first was one, money. They said that he got $1 million to transfer from Alabama back home to Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, wherever it is.
Wait, hold on. Who? Wait, I didn't see that report. Somebody reported
that. The word. I mean, it's the word when I work in the whole collective world space. I know about that, but the word was that he was offered and was going to get $1 million to go back to Iowa. Number one. Number two, girlfriend. Number three,
I heard that.
Obviously, he's home. That's why you go back. And then I can throw in a fourth, the fact that Nick Saban is out, new coach is in, or he didn't know who was coming at the time, whatever it was, but he's gone. Here's my thing. I'm looking at responses. Let me just say this about Alabama fans. A lot of you are the same folk, people who sat here and criticized, called this man everything but a child of God, said how horrible he was. He was terrible. It was no loss. You're glad he's gone. They're going to get somebody better. Blah, 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 blah. And now you're back on the social. And praise thee to Kaden DeBoer for getting him back. Which one is it? He sucks. He's terrible. You glad he's gone? Or praise hell to Kaden DeBoer for getting him back? Listen, the reality is this is a problem with college sports. This is a problem with college football. This is one of the most sickening things I've ever seen. I'm not even excited about it. Dude, what are you doing? Make up your mind. Where are you going to go to school? I mean, this is emotional or emotionally stress for a lot of these people. Right? This is not a good day. This is a bad day. This is a bad day, meaning that college football is a hot mess. We already knew that. But this right here is the perfect example of a dude transfers from the best school the last 2 decades in college football, goes back home. Oh, we don't blame him. Oh, you know, mom and them, girlfriend, and yeah, by the way, 7 figures probably. And probably, I don't know this, but if I'm guessing, he probably broke up with his girlfriend. There's probably some relational thing that's going on. Now he's back. If I had to guess, this is what's going on. And it's ridiculous. The fact that now you just, oh, Michael Jordan, I'm back. What do you mean you back? You ain't ever really been gone. I mean, so,
he really just took an extended spring
like
break. If we're being honest with you, he took an extended spring break.
He had an extended spring break. Oh, welcome back. I'm home. Man, please. I mean, this right here, man. This right here is a joke. It really is. Listen, Kaden Proctor has a huge upside. He has size. He played every game. He struggled. He gave up a ton of sacks. He got beat like a drum with edge speed rushes all day long. It was tough. They didn't give him any help. A lot of it wasn't his fault. A lot of it was Tommy Reese and the offensive line, Eric Wolford, who for some reason didn't feel like they had to put a tight end in there or a back to chip or something like that. They didn't do a lot of that. But this to me is bigger than him coming back to Bama. This to me is college football is a freaking mess. I mean, kids just bounce around as they wish. And probably he's got some checks from Iowa. I'm sure he's gotten some money that now these collectives, these people can't get it back. Now he's gone again. So here's my thing. You can't trust him. As a player, as a captain, as a coach, as one that's done this thing at the highest level, I don't want some dude like this on my team. I don't want a wishy-washy because I can't trust it. You talking about in big games, moments and times in games, foxhole type of dudes. Like, can I trust 74 over here? I don't know. Here today, but he gone tomorrow. What's next? Girlfriend calls back. He back together. I'm gonna transfer again. I mean, what in the world is football coming to? How can coaches coach with this type of foolishness that's going on? How
Well,
can
I mean, to
coaches
be fair, coaches are doing it too now.
I
Y'all
know,
had a
I mean,
receiver
definitely
coach.
doing.
He was
But
there briefly.
football is horrible. We got coaches that are overpaid. We got Kalen the boards. We got people making 10 point something, average of $11 million. We hadn't won a championship yet. He went to one national championship game. Boom, now he's 4th highest paid coach in the country. We got Mike Norvell of Florida State, all this money, never won a championship, really been struggling at Florida State till last year, goes undefeated. They don't get into the playoffs. All of a sudden now he's mentioned to become the successor of Nick Saban, and now he's about 10, 11 million. We got Steve Sarkisian, who finally Texas does decent, and now he's up $10 million. I mean, listen, man, we got Nick Saban, who who won 7 national championships, and he was getting paid some of the same money as Kirby Smart, Dabo Swinney. These guys, they shouldn't even be in the stratosphere the same amount of money. And all the wealth that he brought to the city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, is ridiculous to me. I like Kellen DeBoer as a coach. I think he's going to do well at Alabama in the end, but he should not be making $10 million. He made $4.2 million last year. You want to tell me he's worth over $6 million raise?
Well, we're getting off topic, but we talked
No,
about
I
it on the
mean,
show.
but I'm just saying.
It's because of the market, right?
But
I
I'm
agree
saying
that
that
it is
the
crazy
whole
that
thing is
Coach Saban
college
won all
football is a hot mess. Coaches, players, you name it. The cafeteria lady to spending $5 million, going for $405 million. I mean, everything is screwed up with college football. And the thing is, I like what Coach Mike Krzyzewski said, and he disagreed with Nick. I don't know if you saw that piece. He was saying that you just got to adjust. You got to get used to what college sports is today, right? And instead of running away like Nick Saban and some of these coaches are doing, Coach K said you must adapt, which we know Coach Saban did that better than anybody. I don't agree with what he said there. But listen, Kaden Proctor, and you mentioned you've been at practice. You know what they got. We issued concerns and warning signs about those tackle positions, right? We've been talking about that on our radio show. We knew that they didn't have anybody, but a young guy that was probably going to be kind of the same results. They hadn't played that much and was going to get beat like a drum. So I don't know in the system of Kalen DeBoer when you talk about moving guys pulling a lot. Proctor's a big, over 350 pounds. He's not a sleet of foot. He's not a guy that's you're going to ask to be pulling and doing all these types of things. I don't know how that fits into the system. But what he does have is valuable experience. He's played in a ton of games. He's played in the SEC championship. He's played in the Rose Bowl. He's played against the best players in the country, for all the SEC is concerned. Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell. He practices against every single day. He has the experience that he needs. That being said, I don't know how he fits into the system. You talked about Brailsford and his lack of size. Well, Proctor's the opposite problem, maybe too big to play in the system and would need to lose some weight. And that's possible. So I don't know. My whole takeaway from this whole thing, I don't know. I can't see the chat, but listen, it's foolishness that kids can leave and come back on an extended spring break and be talking about I'm back. Well, I don't know, man. It's just call me old, call me pessimistic, call me what you want to, but I'm just telling you the truth. This is ridiculous. It's not even something you can sit here and go and start shaking your pom poms about, because most of you Alabama fans, if you're honest with yourself, you're the same ones that was glad that he was gone and said how awful he was. Now you're sitting here cheering that he's coming back. I mean, it just shows you that sports, football, college sports, collegiate sports is a freaking disaster, and that's the bottom line.
Well, I think they just need to stick with what they were saying, and I don't know what happened to this or what it was, but I mean, I thought they were going back to you have the ability to transfer once. The next time you pretty much are penalized. You got to sit out unless you're a graduate. I thought there was such thing as that. I don't know. Maybe it's not gone into effect. Maybe I was reading something wrong. I swore I was reading that they were re-implementing that, because remember when I was in school, right? I mean, it used to be you couldn't transfer. If you transferred, you'd have to sit out a year unless you're a graduate, and then you definitely couldn't transfer in conference, because remember the whole issue with Maurice Smith wanting to transfer to Georgia, and they were saying Coach Saban was blocking that. Whatever the deal was there, I don't know. But I hear what you're saying. It definitely is a mess. I mean, I will say this, right? I mean, people are going to get emotional, especially the emotions are running high. Coach Saban retires, right? Then you start seeing an influx of guys starting to leave, some very notable guys. It's easy to kind of start saying some rash things or kind of lashing out. That's what it is. That's what fans have done, and it's not just Alabama fans. I'd argue every fan base does that or would do that if some of their key players opted to enter the portal, which I'm sure that definitely was the case. But that being said, I mean, like I said, being at practice, talking with folks, they definitely needed some help at the tackle position. That's a fact. Just like there was that issue last year, that was going to probably be another issue here. With that being said, this is definitely a huge pickup. Now, we're going to have to see how these guys continue to adjust, because I'm telling you guys, after watching the tape and seeing these guys in practice, I mean, the scheme is much different, right? A lot of that zone scheme and a lot of pulls. You have to be mobile as an offensive lineman in this system. You got to be agile. You got to be able to be light on your feet. It's literally a requirement. That to me is going to be the most important challenge for these guys. Even Booker, even Jaden Roberts. These are all big, powerful guys. They're more on the the power side of things, right? They're not necessarily the most athletic, so to speak, right? Like, yes, they're good athletes, but they're not necessarily designed exactly for this type of scheme. Now, can they adjust and adapt? Absolutely. But I think this offseason is going to be very critical for them specifically, to adjust their bodies, right? To get acclimated with all the movement, to get comfortable doing these movements. I'll give you an example. We both played the edge position, outside linebacker, defensive end linebacker, whatever you want to call it, right? And, depending on the scheme, you're required to do a lot of different things. And you play outside linebacker, some schemes have you're playing the edge, but you're required to, be more in like a 5 technique and be a lot more physical against the run. You might have to sometimes take on double teams, depending on the scheme. Somebody like me personally, I'm a more athletic outside linebacker. That wasn't the best scheme for me. This is a similar comparison, meaning you're going from, hey, a bigger guy that's more fit for that. Now you're asking him to be in a wide 9 where he's got to be in more space, right? That's what we're trying to explain in that aspect. But nonetheless, you get a guy with experience, a guy that's been here, literally technically never left. He just went on spring break for a couple more weeks, and now he's back. Let's get to some of these questions because we both kind of gave our spill. And again, we got a lot
to enhance my screen on my iPad, and that's what
I'll put some up there and let us read them. But again, appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us. It's been a while. Glad to have everybody back. John said he had a wager that at least one of the players that left would be back, and he's hearing another ex-player was also coming back, and a lot about another one. That's what I was saying, guys. I think this literally is kind of just the start. And I'm not going to sit there and tell you guys, get your hopes up that, hey, everybody that left is coming back. No, I'm not saying that. But just don't be shocked if you start seeing more of this, right? That's how college football is. I'm just curious. I don't think first of all, I know business. They're not just going to typically give guys a lump sum of money, especially when this is a possibility. I don't think they gave him $1 million. They might have talked about that. He definitely probably received some money. But what happens to that? I mean, because they can't go and get that back, right? Now they can cut off future payments, but if they paid him $200K to get in the portal, whatever it was, I mean, he just pocketed that. So if that's the case, what does that teach other guys? Why would that stop other guys from just say, hey, if I can get in the portal, I can go make a quick, 6-figure check real quick and turn right back around and go back? I mean, they got to get this cleaned up. But
but let me ask you this: do you think what's Alabama going to give him? He ain't going back.
That's a great point. I thought about that too. You know what I mean? Like just think about that. I mean, honestly, they need contracts. I don't want to see college football turn into pro football, but at this rate, if there's going to be so much turnover and so much volatility where guys can pick up and leave at free will, I mean, there needs to be some type of contract, in my opinion. Right? I mean, because I just don't think it's fair.
I mean, Alabama. I mean, who knows what he got to come? I mean, he didn't come to Alabama for free when he first got there. When he left Iowa at the Cracker Dome.
Out of high school, you mean, right?
Yeah, out of high school. He got money, right? He's got money to play at Alabama his freshman year. He leaves, transfers. Iowa, hey, man, they talked about the talking and the poaching and all that with the coaches. They paid him money to come back, right? And then Alabama is going to have to give him money to come back, because if he gets in the portal, guess what? It ain't just Alabama that wants this dude. This was the number 1 overall tackle out of high school 2 years ago, who started every game for Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. So therefore, and you hear me say it all the time, he has produced value for himself. And so if he stays in the portal, guess who? There's people out there with an open checkbook for a left tackle. Yeah, he struggled, but he got better at the end. He played a lot better the last 5-6 games of the season. And people know that he gets with an offensive line coach who knows how to coach offensive line. This dude is going to be a bona fide first-round pick. You can mark that down right now, because he's athletic and he can move. He ain't no big sluggo, right? So Alabama, Alabama, the collective had to come up with something for 74, as you see in the screen right there. I don't think it was 7 digits, but I bet I
Well,
bet
they're reporting Bama better. I don't know if you can see the comments. I pinned it, but they said Iowa beat writers, are reporting he was paid him $100K. So maybe not $1 million, but $100,000 is a lot of money, right? I mean, $1 million, 100,000. I mean, to pay somebody, pay me $100,000 to come hang out.
I think he got more money than
that. He might have, but I'm just saying that you can pay me $100,000. I'll come hang out for a month. I'll work out for
the boy and the general manager, Mr. Morgan for Alabama, gave him more money than that.
What's going on,
What's
Sam?
up, Sam? I mean, think about it. They gave him more money than that. Period.
Jeff says, I asked this question, Pop. So what if Caleb Downs came back? I bet nobody would have a problem with it.
No, I got a problem. I got a problem with the system. I got a problem with this freaking system. It's trash.
Right.
Period. I don't think Caleb Downs should be able to come back to Alabama because he's got a Land Rover brand new truck deal. He's got probably $500,000, maybe $1 million from going to Ohio State. You'll tell me you're gonna take that and then turn around and go back? Yeah, I have a problem. You got one right here, buddy. You best believe it shows you that college football, college sports is operating in the trash category right now. And that now you've given these young men the ability to maximize and take advantage of the system, right? They're not stupid. They know what they're doing.
Well, no, I mean, they're seeing the coaches do it too, though. I mean, the coach from South Carolina, y'all hired the wide receiver coach. No, I'm saying like it's like they're seeing coaches do it. So just think about it. We both are former players. If your position coach, say your position coach gets hired, he's there for a month, then he says, okay, I'm gonna dip out and leave. That's gonna make you kind of say, all right, well, if the coaches don't have much allegiance, why should I have some? Now, again, I personally, would I do that? Hell no. I mean, everybody knows me. I mean, we just had a guy call and say, you're one of my favorite players because you said when you tore your hamstring, you wouldn't miss that championship game for nothing. I thought that was standard, but what's crazy is people literally hold that in such a high regard. And to me, that's just what I knew. I feel like a lot of our teammates are like that. Things are different now. All I'm saying is, unfortunately, it's no different because I saw John also say this too. He said it's all a joke. This has got to be fixed. Coaches have to have have to get their power back, period. And yeah, I mean, the trust thing, I get what you're saying. I said this earlier when I was talking to somebody about it. I said, that's more of a thing that NFL scouts are going to say. Like, they're going to ask them about that, right? They're going to literally say, like, do you have a hard time with decision making because, you're committed to Iowa, you sign with Alabama, you transfer to Iowa, then a month later you go back. Scouts are going to dig in all that stuff. Players, I'll be honest with you, I think the players kind of, like, is he going to come back and it's going to be awkward in the locker room? I'll be honest with you. Knowing how guys are, I don't think they're really going to think too much of it. You know what I'm saying? I think they'll probably, for the most part, be glad he's back. And it'll be almost like we're saying, he just took an extended vacation.
Well, because they're all on the same thing now about this.
Yeah, they get it.
And this is why
they're probably going to say, dang, that boy got paid.
I mean, this is why Miss Terry and Nick Saban said what they said. Like it or not, this is the reality of it. Like, of course, Kalen the boy ain't going to say anything because he needs that position. And I'm sure, I can't wait till folks get in the media room. But again, you talking about the Alabama Du Bois suck up the coach press down there. They won't ask any tough questions. But the question should be, why even allow him back when the guy just left a program to go to another program? Now he's back. How can you trust said player? Somebody needs to ask him that question. But coach allowed him to come back because he's the #1 overall pick out of high school, and everybody wants him.
But he
I don't
left.
Trust him.
But when did he left?
You want to go to war? You want to go to fight? You want to get into a fight with a kid like that? Oh man, you turn around, he's gonna be gone. He's gonna be somewhere eating chicken wings. I mean, come on, man.
Other John Jones says that what I was referring to about going back to the transfer rules, kind of penalizing, so to speak, players. He said it's on hold because of a lawsuit from West Virginia Attorney General. So at least I think that's what he's referring to. Truett's in here. What's up, Truett? You think more coming back? I mean, I think there definitely could be. I'm not going to try to say any
Well, you
names
could
or
have broke
anything, but
this news. You knew already about this guy coming back, and
oh
although
no, no,
many
no.
people will tell you, but you already knew
Yeah,
about it, and didn't say
I
anything.
knew this. Yeah, I knew this last week. I just didn't say anything because that's not my place. I'm respectful of it, but it almost makes me wonder because then I got people come up to me telling me about it. I'm like, how the hell do you know? I'm like, I might as well be. I mean, if everybody's just kind of just sharing stuff, I might as well. But I don't operate like that. But anyway, um, let's see. Jeff said you rock the wide receiver, tight end spot, and you can play defense. Christian, yeah, I played a little tight end in high school, but definitely was a defensive guy. Corey says, to be honest, this is a really good thing. He has great upside to him. He was number one left tackle at high school. Yeah, no, trust me. Strategically speaking, yeah. I mean, I just told you we were in need of some tackles. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We needed some tackles. Now, don't get me wrong. We've got some young guys. I get it, and I know everybody picks every guy that they saw sign, and they're like, "Oh, we got this guy. We got this guy. We got this guy." The fact of the matter is, folks, guys develop at different rates, right? And I'm not saying the guys we had couldn't step up and be starters and play, but that doesn't mean they're going to play at the level that we need them to play. For example, last year, right? No offense, but everybody was raving about Kaden Proctor signing with us, and he's going to come in and fill a need. Guys, it took 3/4 of the season for him to get adjusted to actually play at the level we need him to play. Now, like my dad said, a lot of that had to do with we're probably not helping this kid's confidence much by not giving him help. We're not giving him support on that side. We're not putting a tight end or a fullback. Why would you not put CJ Dupree or Robbie Oots over there to throw in a chip? Those guys still can release for a route. They just chip on their way out. I mean, and that little chip slows that defensive end down just enough to get him off his track. I know from personal experience. Hate chippers. Even if they're not chipping, just the placement of the tight end itself is enough to honestly get a defensive end off his track, right? That's an extra step that he has to go because he's now 1.5, 2 yards wider because you now have to respect that the tight end's right there. Or if you're like us at Alabama, we had to respect that tight end to our integrity of the defense. I had to then play in a 6 technique, meaning I'm head up on him. If it's a passing situation, I'm rushing through the V of his neck. If he don't move, I'm running into him. What do you think happens? Even if he doesn't move, I'm now compromised by my edge because now I'm hugged up on a tackle. As a pass rusher, you always rush half a man. It's hard to do that when you're rushing from a true 6 technique or 5 technique. There's no space. See, like these are the things that like us former players, people that really know the game, like there's simple things that you can just do, whether it's just alignment, basic techniques to help guys out that we just didn't really see too much of last season. I say all that to say Kaden Proctor is definitely a much better player now, but you just guys got to remember that guys take time to develop. And I've seen some people name some other guys that we have at tackle, and they're going to be some good players. I just
Let me
I'm being honest,
you
I just don't think they're ready right now.
Did he not engage in spring practice at Iowa? Had they not had spring practice yet?
That's a great question. Chat, do you guys know? I'll be honest. I don't know. I would imagine. Let's look it up. I know the chat always is quick to it, but he may have participated in spring practice. That was going to be my question. Is I don't think he's going to be able to partake in Alabama spring practice. I think it's too late. I know he's re-enrolling this spring, but I don't know. These are questions that I'll probably get answered. I haven't had the time to really look into it.
Well, let me ask you this: you haven't missed half the classes. How can you get back into school?
And that's what I'm confused about. Because remember the report about remember when Coach DeBoer was hired, and there was a lot of talk about, oh, well, we're going to hit the portal, but hey, but you can only really choose from these guys right now because the portal is not open and spring semester's already started. Guys can't get enrolled. So I'm confused on kind of what happened with that. You know what I mean? Like they were basically saying,
I thought you'd have to wait till the summer and enroll.
I
mean, what do you do?
I'd imagine so, but
Iowa, do you
some
drop
reports,
them? Do you have
you definitely drop the Iowa classes.
Incomplete?
So basically, if I had to guess, he'll probably basically you can drop if you drop classes before a certain time. I forgot what they do, but it's like you don't fail them. Like it's like you basically just like a void. So obviously he hadn't been enrolled that long. That's probably the case. He dropped him, boom. It's not going to negatively affect him, and then he'll enroll here. Now I saw reports he's enrolling this spring. Does that mean he's going to be like actually be enrolled? I was confused on that part. I don't know. Regardless, though, worst case he just misses out on this semester. Guys are taking summer classes, so I graduated in a little over 3 years because when you take summer classes, you're getting classes in year round. You're getting your hours and all that stuff. So it's not going to set him back that much. Plus, I mean, we're talking about a guy. I mean, if he develops the way that I think he can, I wouldn't be shocked if he leaves early for the draft. With that being said, he probably wasn't going to graduate anyways. Worst case, he comes back and finishes his degree. Bama Better says he can enroll at the spring portal, and he only announced he'll be coming back now. Yeah, then he also said it's not Iowa spring practice yet. So there you go. And then Corey says he won't be able to practice with Alabama until after May. So yeah, so he's basically he'll enroll in May with the rest of the summer enrollees from this last signing class, where you jump into basically the summer workouts. At least that's what I'm getting from you guys. So Tough as Nails says freshmen make bad decisions. Well, really, every young person makes bad decisions, but you're right, and maybe he did. But if I'm being honest with you, I mean, just like my dad mentioned, I wasn't trying to get all personal, but I was hearing that following a girlfriend, you know what I mean. And let's just face it, when you're a young person, guy or girl, you're head over heels in these relationships. Sometimes you're thinking with the wrong head. You know what I mean? And you don't want to make decisions, especially rash decisions, just following people around. I don't know, but I was kind of hearing the girlfriend thing. But anybody got any other questions regarding this whole thing? Again, I mean, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about Kaden Proctor re-entering the portal, coming back to Alabama. Sorry, I got my dog in the background. Jeff says their kids are going to be making mistakes. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. Bama Better, I think you've been saying this, so I'll give you this attention because I know you want my dad to answer this question so bad. Like, guys, you got to look. He might have an opinion. Like, it's okay if it differs. If T-Rob would have came back to Alabama, would it have been a trash move? Could we trust him like you were saying about Proctor? Because remember, T-Rob was hired at Georgia. Then they interviewed him to come back. So I guess Bama Better is asking, would you have that same approach, that same attitude towards T-Rob for leaving than coming back that you have towards Proctor?
This guy Coley left Texas A&M, came to South Carolina to coach receivers, which pushed Jeff. What's his last name? The other wide receivers coach, I'm drawing a blank. He ended up going to Illinois, right? He went to Illinois, and then the next week Coley goes to Georgia because their receiver coach ended up going to Georgia State or one of the other programs. Their coaches, they're grown men. I'm talking about the thing with the kids. The kids is a problem. And yes, it is a trash move that from the NCAA to allow these types of things to continue to go on. You shouldn't be able to leave and then come right back. I mean, because you got a problem with your girlfriend or whatsoever. I think to me, that's a bad move. It's a bad look on college football. It's descending down. It's crashing. And it's a trash move. And here's the thing: if you're a fan, you don't care, right? Bama Better, you probably don't care. You just want Alabama to have the best tackle. You could care less, right? You can care less what those individual players over there at Iowa could think or what they're feeling. One that he's committed to, transferred to. They're going to build something special together, and all of a sudden he's gone. How do you trust somebody like that? How do you trust an athlete that you don't know if he's staying or is he going? Where's his mind? That's why the NFL asks you these types of questions, because they, believe me, they're charting it down. What kind of dude are you? Can we count on you? Coaches need to know, can I count on you? 4th and 1. Can I count on you if you got a little nick? Can you still play? Who is this guy?
Well, but answer his question, though, so he can stop asking all these questions because it's starting to, he just keeps flooding it. Like, what are your thoughts on T-Rob, though? Would you be able to trust T-Rob when he comes back?
This is a grown man. Coaches, yeah, and I gave him the example with Coley. Did he not listen? I just told you, Coley came to South Carolina.
But he asked about T-Rob. Just give him yes or no.
I'm saying the same thing. T-Rob is the same thing. It's not that freaking hard to hear. I'm saying
he don't know who you're talking about.
Coley, I'm saying, is a coach. T-Rob is a coach. Any coach that comes and say I'm gonna do something with a team and just leaves, I got the same freaking problem. That's what I'm saying. That's not hard to believe to figure out, right? It's trash, and it's more trash if a system allows an 18 and 19-year-old to do it. It's a trash move, and yeah, you're supporting it. But if this was the opposite, Bama better, right? You would have none. You would be crushing this dude. Matter of fact, I bet if I go back and pull and find your handles, you probably trash Proctor for leaving. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I think he was just saying that we should be mad at the system, which you clearly said. I mean,
I said
you
the
made
system.
Yeah, that's why I was reiterating that. I mean, it's the system, right? These young players. I mean, if it's available to them, I mean, it's hard to necessarily take it out on them because it's available to them, right? I mean, and I'm not going to bash them. I get what you're saying, the trust thing. I mean, if you want to dive deep into it, yeah, that definitely makes sense. But me personally, I also know that as a young kid, guys do make mistakes, and it's easy for somebody to say, "Hey," because he's also from Iowa. I know we hear the rumblings, but like maybe he did feel like, "Hey, this is the time for me to go back home, be with my family." Who knows? Maybe he got there and the family and the girlfriend stuff. Maybe it was taking a toll on him, and he knew that this was a better place for him. I mean, that happens. With that being said, I mean, I'm not. I'll never. And I know a lot of people, like you mentioned, like when these kids leave, they're going at him. I saw. Talk about Caleb Downs, man. Caleb Downs went from everybody's hero here in Tuscaloosa. Then I'm seeing tweets. They're trying to find every single negative play of him. I'm talking about Alabama fans, and they're tweeting every negative play of him, bashing him. And I'm like, I mean, I know it's frustrating, but like, I mean, we're talking about 18, 19-year-old kids, man. It's unfortunate, but I'll never bash a kid over making those decisions because you're making tough decisions at a young age. I think what did I see? Oh, Jeremy said, Jeremy, good to see you, man. It's been a while. He said, how much weight would he need to drop to fit in Coach DeBoer's offense? Personally, I mean, I can't necessarily put a number on it, but I do know, because things vary depending on the height. But I would say with him, with his frame, he's just a bigger dude. But I would say even like 340 would be a better number. I just think because I think last year, bro, he was like, was he not up at like 365? Maybe I'm thinking of sorry, I got puppies in the background. I might be thinking of Latham, but I mean, both those guys, I'm pretty sure at some point were in like the 360s, right? You hardly see NFL tackles at that size. I mean, you got
around 330.
But no, my number would be 330, 335. But I'm saying realistically, though, that might be hard for him to get to from 360. Maybe that's too much to go to immediately. That's why I said I think even if he's 340-ish, that's much better than 360-ish. I mean, I pulled this up for what it's worth. I mean, and granted, they don't have the same type of players, but this is off Washington's offensive. This is their depth chart from last season. At least I'm pretty sure this is from last season. But here you go. Left tackle was 6'4", 317. Now, granted, Kaden Proctor is like 6'7", 6'8". He's going to be heavier, but in comparison, that'd probably be like 6'7", 6'8", 335-ish. That's why I kind of gave him that range. I think that's solid. The backup was 6'5", 281. Too small. We don't want that. That's a tight end in the SEC. We're being honest with you. That's Georgia's tight end, Big Washington or whatever his name was. Guard was 6'6", 327. Solid dude. He's a good player too, by the way. Brailsford 275. I think he'll add some weight, but again, after seeing him in person, he's not very big. I mean, I'm not picking on him. I'm just being transparent. Like he honestly looked kind of like, and maybe it's because of the guys he was next to. He's next to Booker and Jaden Roberts, two really big dudes, but he literally looked like he could have played linebacker from afar. But again, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a great player, but I think he could benefit adding a couple pounds. But then to get all this out of the way, the right tackle was 6'6", 300 pounds. The backup was 6'6", 296. So if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, basically what I'm saying is like their system had guys that were hardly over 315. You get what I'm saying? That being said, we have a much different type of offensive line. Remember, we were recruiting big, girthy guys, big, strong, powerful guys. So that's what they have to work with. Now, if I know these coaches like I think I do, I would say they'll probably work with them. Number one, they're going to try to get them to understand and fit this system. But I mean, if it gets to a point where they're completely struggling with a lot of movements, I mean, good football coaches will find ways to kind of manipulate things to kind of put their players in position to make plays. But yeah, to answer your question, man, I would say for Proctor at his size, I would say 335, 340 should be great for him. Because he is a good athlete. He's just, I think last year
No,
he
he's
was
still a really good
overweight.
athlete. I mean, listen.
No, he is. He just was overweight and out of shape
Kaden
last year.
Proctor,
It's a
again, let
fact.
me reiterate. In case you join us, Kaden Proctor is going to be an excellent football player. He needs to be coached and taught, right? His size, when you're 6'7", 360 is not like he's not fat. You look at him and he's a big dude. He's a big man. He's not nothing fat on him because he's so tall, right? If he was 330 pounds, 325, he'll look like a basketball player almost. I mean, but that's what you kind of have to be in a system that requires offensive linemen to pull and play in space. You got to have good footwork. You got to be able to move. You got to be able to flip hips, because you're not playing a system that's going to drive block somebody off the ball. You're not playing a system that you're exploding through those hips and using those hands and getting and creating push. What you're doing is asking linemen. If you go back and watch the old San Francisco 49ers, they had no big line. Barely, their tackles were barely over 300 pounds. If they were 300 pounds, 300, 305, right? And you can line up in front of them, but they couldn't move you. They didn't have pop like that. But everything they did was lateral movement, man. And they'll run. They'll turn and run lateral. And they hand the ball to Ricky Waters and those backs who had great vision and great just awareness when to cut back. And they'll get you running. And then all they do is get you into a space and then just get between you and the ball carrier. They don't need to knock you off the ball. So there's a way to be effective playing the offensive line position when you're not just smash mouth people and knocking them off. Now, Kaden Proctor is built to play smash mouth ball, like Nick will line people up, toe to toe splits, and let's go. Big tight ends, and you handle your man mano a mano. So he's going to have to adapt. No, there's no doubt about it. But I think they will not ask him at that size right now to be doing a lot of pulling, because that's not his forte. That would be saying, hey, I'm asking you to do something that you're not very good at, and that's not smart coaching. So, there will be some give and take when it comes to Kaden Proctor. But again, not mad at Kaden Proctor. But the reality is this whole college football, the world of transfer portal is an absolute train wreck. It's a mess. It's a wild, wild west, whatever adjective that you want to use to describe it. This is ridiculous. And I don't see it as, hey, look, we got Caleb. I mean, because he is not Caleb Downs. All right. He is not Isaiah Bond, who caught that pass from Jalen Milroe and beat your rival game. He's a guy that a lot of fans, most of you said could not play, wasn't good enough. They're glad he's gone. I mean, we heard it all when he left. No big loss for the team, but it was because Christian told you he's been out of practice. They don't have nobody to replace him. So, of course, they are welcoming him back because he's much better than what they got. So, if you're an Alabama fan, yeah, you're not mad because you're saying, hey, we need this guy. We need this player. We don't have anybody. So, here you go. Welcome back home. So, does that excite me about the system? Heck freaking no. Because we're going to see more of this. And you just alluded to, Christian, that maybe some other guys will come back. We just got to wait and see. Now that he's back, and now that Kalen and the boys welcoming those players coming back, who knows? The door may swing even wider. So I don't like it. I think it's a mess, and it's a sad day, in my opinion, for college football.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. We got a super chat from John Jones. He says, hope to meet up during the 8-day game. We'll be at R&R Cigars Thursday and Friday before the game. Well, first and foremost, thank you for the super chat, John. We appreciate that. I'll definitely be here for 8-day. Plan on calling the game with the broadcast team.
It's depending on what time 8-day is. I'm speaking on Friday. I got a big men's event Friday night at church. And I'm the speaker, preacher. New Creation Baptist Church. I'll be preaching Friday night, April 12th. What is A Day? 13th?
I think so, at 3:00.
Yeah. So maybe be close.
3:00. Somebody asked, let's see, BMNCC. But again, yeah, John, but I will be here. And again, thank you again for the chat, super chat, but I will be here.
Best
so
model.
maybe I can meet up.
Wow.
Beast mode, no cheat code. There you go. Says, do you guys think Bama wins another title under DeBoer? Honestly, it's tough to say. Is it possible? Absolutely. I think it's possible, especially given the new playoff scenario. I mean, 12 teams, then it goes to 14 teams. I mean, Alabama should be in the playoffs every year, even with Coach DeBoer taking over, right? I mean, everybody's excited about what he's done his past programs. Now he's got a lot more talent to work with. Seems to me like, the offense, in my opinion, is going to be much upgraded from what I've seen, just kind of watching them on tape or then seeing them in practice. I'll tell you right now, if you guys were kind of bored with the same old vanilla runs that we were doing, it's the, duo and insides, all that stuff, just not much, substance offensively in the past couple of years with Tommy Rees and Bill O'Brien. I'll tell you right now, these guys actually move around a lot. That was one thing when I watched Tommy Rees at Notre Dame. I pointed that out. I said, hey, he likes to use some pre-snap motion and movements. And I didn't really see that here at Alabama. Now, that leads me to believe that Coach Saban kind of still had his hand on things and probably was influencing some of that maybe. I don't know. But I'll tell you this, though, from what I've seen with this new offense, lots of movement, lots of window dressing. I mean, they really make you think as a defender, right? I mean, and this is like week one stuff that I was seeing them put in FIB. I'm not going to get into too much, but just know they're doing just a lot. And that being said, offensively, yeah, man, I think the offense is going to be much improved. And I'm excited to see what they can do with a guy like Jalen Milroe and his skill set. I'm excited to see him in this offense. I think he's going to benefit tremendously from it. The biggest thing for him this offseason is he needs to continue to work on his progression, speeding those processes up. That, to me, is the most glaring thing with him. I know everybody wants to just follow the narrative and say, oh, it's the short intermediate throws. Listen, guys, the guy can make those throws. I'm telling you right now, if you're a quarterback and you can throw the ball downfield, you can throw a short pass. All right. The thing with him is he's just so big and strong that he just has to learn to just put some touch on it, be smooth, right? We always say smooth is fast. Sometimes I think he's just so strong, he's just trying to zip it, man, and it messes with his accuracy. That being said, I'm not concerned about that. The biggest thing is he's got to be able to go through his reads quicker. He's got to know and understand what he's looking at, what he's got, right? Pre-snap, right? Post-snap, where to go, be quick with it. If it's not there, get rid of it. Run the ball or get rid of it. That being said, yeah, offensively, they're going to be, I think, much improved. Defensively, I'm still kind of getting used to it, coming from Coach Saban's system. Defense – let me talk about this real quick because I'm tired of everybody, the whole narrative, the whole 4-2-5, Kane Wommack's 4-2-5. It's so different. How are we going to stop the run? Guys, we ran a 4-2-5, a.k.a. nickel, 95% of the time the past 3 years, if not more, okay? The 4-2-5 is nothing new. That's literally what we ran. Yes, we based with Coach Saban out of a 3-4. More so when I was there, before I was there, definitely, right? Because there was a lot more pro-style offense. You're facing a lot more 12 personnel. You're facing a lot more, 13 jumbo sets. You have it. Like when I was there, we would get in our base 3-4 when we played Arkansas, Auburn when they went to those jumbo sets, LSU. They like to use a tight end, 2 tight end set, fullbacks, right? Texas A&M. Right, they had a pro-style offense at certain times when I was there. What I'm getting at is the rest of the time we're playing a 4-2-5, playing nickel. That's what Kane Wommack runs. So I know you guys read the articles and these writers and podcasters. They're Swarm D 4-2-5. It literally is pretty much what we did. Just basically our nickel defense. The biggest difference that I've noticed that you'll notice is really in the back end, and that's the integrity of their coverages. How they play with their safeties. They really basically it's middle of the field closed versus middle of the field open. If you guys know what that means, basically single high versus 2 high shell. This defense has a lot of single high shell. They don't pattern match as much. right? They'll play man coverage, but when they're playing zone, they're playing zone. I know I'm kind of just going down a whole nother path, but I figured I'd throw this in there just because I know a lot of you people are curious. That being said, we'll see about this defense. I mean, personnel-wise, very similar. Integrity-wise, it operates a little bit different. Definitely simpler. And a lot of people, like my dad, for example, thought our defense with Coach Saban was too complicated, made guys overthink. If you're one of those people that believe that, you'll like this defense. It lets guys play a little more loose. There's not as many addendums. There's not as much. There's not as many layers to the coverages. It's just kind of like, hey, we're playing zone, Be a football player, read and react, and make a play. So we'll see. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it's possible. I think just at the end of the day, it just boils down to, look, man, you got a tough schedule, especially this first year. You go on the road to Wisconsin early on. You know, they're a middle of the pack football team, but you're still going on the road to a team you don't typically play. So I think that'll definitely be a challenge, especially week 3. You face Georgia at home, week 4. You have a bye week, I'm pretty sure. Then you face Georgia. It's not going to be an easy game. And let me be clear, when everybody gets offended, if you say, I think Alabama might be around that 10 win area for the season. You got 9.5, but I'm saying, but even if you say a 10-win season, if you don't have Alabama going undefeated, people think you're doubting Coach DeBoer. I'll tell you right now, I think Coach DeBoer is a hell of a football coach, but I'm realistic. I played in the SEC. I played for Alabama 5 years. Even if Nick Saban was still coaching this year, people would probably have Alabama at, a lot of people, experts would have them at 9-10 wins this season, given the schedule. You go on the road and play LSU. You go on the road and play Tennessee. You go on the road and play Oklahoma. Just to remind you guys, last year, most experts didn't even have Alabama win the SEC title last year. All right, if you guys remember. Say all that to say, man, I think Alabama's going to – they're going to surprise the doubters, in my opinion. They're going to surprise the people that are writing them off because of the coaching change. But I also want to urge the people that are overly optimistic to be a little more cautiously optimistic, meaning like, if they don't go undefeated this year, don't freak out. It's not the end of the world. It's not a failure. Because I'm telling you right now, even with Coach Saban as the head coach, this is going to be a tough year. It's a tough schedule. But the good news is you got the 12-team playoff in your favor. No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying, like, even like let's just be transparent. Even if Coach Saban was coaching, you had Bryce Young at quarterback. I don't care what it is. Like, from experience, I'm saying right now, it's extremely difficult just to run the table like that, especially given nowadays with NIL and all this stuff. People can go get good players too. But real quick, hit guys, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button. That helps us out tremendously. If you guys are just finding us or checking us out, make sure you guys subscribe. We'll be back doing this more often. Maybe we'll get back to doing the once a week thing, but you can always listen to us if you want to hear us daily, Monday through Friday, 12 to 2 on Tide 100.9. Download that app and check us out there. But yeah, go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying they're not going to win. They're not going to go undefeated. They're going to be probably 9-3. I think they lose 3 games. I think they lose to Georgia. I think they lose Oklahoma on the road or Wisconsin. They'll lose one of those road games, and they'll drop another one between LSU, Tennessee, and Auburn. And so maybe Missouri. I mean, Missouri's a better team than people give them credit for. They got a lot of people coming back, so there's a dangerous team coming out of the East, and we don't have East-West conferences anymore. But listen, for first year, I mean, 9-3, you're probably going to be around the cusp of making the playoffs. So, depending on your wins, your losses, and who they are too. So, if they get to the playoffs, what a great, successful year for Kaden DeBoer. No matter where they are, just get to the playoffs. I mean, they should be a top 12 team. I don't see any reason they shouldn't be. And so a lot of other teams in the SEC are going to have to play tough schedules as well. Georgia's not so much. I expect Georgia to be there. I expect, Ohio State, Texas, Texas, the newcomer in the conference, should be really good. I expect Texas and Georgia to be 1 and 2 in the SEC. That's my early, way too early predictions. I got Texas and Georgia playing for SEC championship, and we'll see what goes from there. So, listen, they're going to be good. I mean, and Kaden Proctor coming back, that's why we're on here for sure, is a plus for the football team. But it's a not slap in the face to all the fans of college and sports and college football based on what this transfer portal is all about. I think right now we've seen it, and we're seeing it more and more become evident with this Kaden Proctor situation going back to Alabama. And God, if any other players come back, it's going to be like, what in the world is happening? Maybe this is what it takes for them to maybe change some things. Maybe this situation might open the eyes of some people who's turned a blind eye to it. So, but again, to me, it's a trash move. The fact that you leave and then you turn around and come back like you've never left. I'm home, welcome back, whatever you said he tweeted out, or X'd out. It just, to me, it just shows you everything what's wrong with college athletics.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it's definitely the system. I mean, I hate knocking the kid. They're young people. They're making big decisions at a young age. It's definitely not easy. I was in those shoes. You were in those shoes when you were deciding in school. But again, when the system's like this, it's hard to blame the athletes. They got money being thrown at them to entice them to leave. They got people in there. They've got agents nowadays. It's a mess. So at the end of the day, it's definitely an issue with the system that I believe is ultimately failing these kids, failing college football, but failing these kids because it's not teaching the right habits. But it is what it is, man. You got to adjust, you got to adapt, and hopefully some change will come soon. We got Coach Saban and, company trying to do the right thing. So hopefully they can finally provide some words of wisdom to get things turned around. But we're probably going to head off of here, guys. It's definitely been, and I mean this when I say it's been fun being back on here. It's been a while. Missed hanging out with you guys. Again, if you haven't already, man, make sure you like the video. That helps us out. And if you enjoy this kind of stuff, make sure you subscribe. We'll definitely keep doing this again. We'll probably get back to maybe once a week, especially with spring ball. I know you guys, I saw some people saying you like when we're kind of breaking things down. So let us know in the comments below what you guys would be interested in. If you want me to break some stuff down, the defense, certain players specifically, offensively, whatever you guys want me to break down and talk about, man, let us know in the comments. So we'll hop on here, do some videos on that. Maybe we'll get some all 22 film and kind of go back, revisit last season, break some players tape down, kind of give you our thoughts on that. Other things going on. You got Pro Day tomorrow. Tune into that. We've been working with Chris Braswell a little bit. So excited to see him go out there and do his thing tomorrow. But again, you can always catch us Monday through Friday, 12 to 2, Miller's Edge on our radio show, Tide 100.9. Download that app. It's free, or go to the website, Tide 100.9. Check us out there. That being said, we're going to hop off of here. And until next time, appreciate you guys. Kai, see, man. Yeah, man, we got to get back on here, man. I got to get back to doing it. We're just still working some things out, trying to get it smooth, but we'll try to get that back going as well. But in the meantime, bro, tune into the radio show, man. And y'all can write in app messages on there, just like you put in the chat, and we'll answer the questions live on air, call in the show. Man, we do all that good stuff on the radio.
Time, 12 to 2 Central.
Yes, sir. 12 to 2 Central Time. That is Central Time. So Eric wants to talk about some pass rush. Man, I love to do it. That's obviously our thing. So maybe next time we'll get on here, go on live, talk about maybe some young guys. There's a lot of talk about Keon Keeley. I can kind of break down, what's expected from him in that role at Bandit, kind of what to expect from the front this year. That'd be another good topic. So we can probably do that. So I see some people wanting to talk about defense, pass rush, that good stuff. So we'll hop on here and make it happen. But again, man, appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll try to do this again soon. But in the meantime, everybody be safe, be blessed, roll tide, and we'll see you guys soon.